Welcome to The New Monks. This podcast is dedicated to those of us on the journey of evolution. Through these episodes, we will dive into the lives of individual people and discover what they have learned and how they have handled their growth. So in this episode, Chris talks about his transition from becoming a building constructor to finding a more fulfilling path for himself that brings him more happiness, not just for himself, but for his family too. He talks about his connection to plants and the healing properties of plant medicines and herbs, and his travels to South America trying various different plant medicines. And he talks about the connection to trauma through his family and how he feels like he has broken that cycle and managed to find the light within himself. I hope that you enjoy. Sweet, so thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So basically how we normally start is if you can just take a few deep breaths in.
Mm-hmm.
And then just tell us how you're feeling right now.
I'm feeling good today. The sun's out, so it's a beautiful day. So yeah, feeling good. I'm feeling a little bit nervous as well. So first time being in front of a camera, you know.
Yeah, naturally.
So yeah. But thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm feeling good.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel nervous, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So where to begin with your story? I feel like I know a little bit about you, so I think this is also going to be new for me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so like, where to begin?
So should we begin from like my transition into where I am now, basically?
Yeah, that sounds nice.
Yeah. Okay, I went travelling in 2015. I went to India, not for too long, for a couple of weeks. And this was like a major transition in my life because it got me to really where I am in the space today. You know, even though I've been on this journey my whole life, you know, but where I am today kind of really started off in 2015 from going to India for 2 weeks, you know, and
was it your first time in India?
Yeah, it was my first time with Goa. I went with my partner and my son, and we was just there for 2 weeks, and you know, just really kind of connecting with the land and just kind of being, you know, instead of, we always used to go to like city breaks and stuff like that, so it was kind of a first of like being somewhere so far and somewhere so exotic and with a lot of nature around us, you know, and
do you think that India does that to you?
Yeah, well, it had that feeling on me, you know, and for me as well, it was, reflecting back on it, it was seeing or being grateful for connecting to a land like that, you know, and seeing the contentness in the people that were there and what they had, you know, and it really brought me into this introspective energy when I was there. You know, and I had a lot of things to be grateful in my life, and I wasn't grateful for them. And there was these people, and they were just like so happy, just being on the beach with just bare minimum, you know. And that I really remember that was like a pivotal point in my journey, you know, that kind of connected me to kind of.
Sorry, you were born and raised in London.
Yeah, I was born and raised in London. Yeah, so So it's always been in like that rushing energy, you know, it's just never connected to nature or anything like that, you know. So it was that was a major transition for me on my journey, you know. And then from there, I remember coming back and I started I don't know what happened though, but I just started reading a lot of books, like books on consciousness and, you know, just being grateful and sort of books like The Secret and The Power of Now and stuff, you know, like being in control of your own thoughts and actions, you know, instead of having or being controlled or governed by your controls and by your emotions. Yeah. You know, so it just kind of started from there, and then ever since it's just been
And what were you doing at the time, working?
I was like in the building trade at the time, so I was just doing like contract work, doing all sorts of building work at the time. So so that's what I was doing at the time. And I remember that I was never happy with work. I was just always content with paying my bills. Like, you know, it was never like there was never a purpose behind it. You know, it was just like, oh, go to work to get money, you know, to pay bills. You know, and it just ended up being a very repetitive cycle, which then when I started to explore myself in deeper ways, I started to see, well, I'm not really happy with my life, you know, I'm not really living a fulfilling or purposeful life, you know. So that made I went into really questioning my work and wanting to transition into something I enjoyed doing, you know. So
And then how long did that transition take?
So it was about a year transition. I'm still transitioning now. So I've just kind of found my feet into other things where I can have a bit of financial freedom, where then it also allows me to explore other areas of my life and study new things, you know. So I've gone into a lot of like holistic healing, holistic therapies, and, you know, I'm really finding joy in just kind of being able to help people through that, you know, and then being able to pay my bills through cryptocurrency, doing cryptocurrency trading, you know, which isn't taking up my whole day, you know, and I can work for myself. So I'm having that freedom to explore myself, you know, and not be governed by somebody telling me to be in at 9 a.m. and to leave at 5 p.m. So so I'm feeling really blessed at the moment to be able to do that and to explore my my awakening or my spiritual journey, if you want to call it that, you know. So
So how did you leave your career?
I kind of transitioned because my friend was already doing cryptocurrency trading. So it really appealed to me, and I'm good on computers as well. So I kind of just fell into place, you know. My friend was doing it. He kind of taught me the ins and outs of it all, and I just tried it. You know, I had a bit of money put aside for my work, and I thought, you know what? Instead of living in the fear, you know, I'm just gonna break free for this, and if it doesn't work, it's not meant to be, you know. And I had a bit of money put aside. It wasn't much, but I put it into it, and it just since then it's been good, you know. It hasn't been amazing where I've made like lots and lots of money, but I've been able to pay my bills and again have that freedom for myself and that liberation. So that's how I got into it, you know.
It works.
It's
nice.
It works. So.
And then, how did you overcome the fear because I feel like that's a big step to take, you know?
It is a big thing to overcome fear. I mean, fear is like something we've been conditioned since birth with, you know, as we was talking before. You know, so it's really hard to break out that paradigm, you know, and like we were saying before, fear is just not fear of not having money, it's fear of like, it can come on so many levels, do you know what I'm saying? So to break free is really hard. For me, it was more about what helped me break free from it was to think I want to be able to explore myself in a better way. You know, I want to be happy. I don't want to be locked down by something that's making me unhappy, that's making me a miserable person, that also is reflecting onto my life at home, onto my family, you know. So yeah, for me it was just like I just wanted to do better for myself, you know. And that was a big catalyst for me to break away from the fear of just taking a chance and just trying, you know. And what's the worst that can happen, you know? You know, what's the worst that can happen? I can always go back to the trade I was doing before. You know, it's always open, you know. So yeah, that was
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I feel like it's look, some people might get a glimpse, like say when you went to India, and then just go back to see what they were doing.
Yeah.
So it's quite nice that you've managed to want to explore more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I got back as well, there was a lot of, I realised after doing a lot of reading and I started connecting to like herbs and plant medicines and stuff like that. So as well, that really opened me up to gain strength and courage to want to explore myself deeper, you know. So so that really helped me along my journey as well. So.
And I think there's so many people who are just working to get money.
Yeah. I mean, it's a whole repetitive cycle that we're all unfortunately we're locked into, you know. And it's really hard, you know. We all got bills to pay and people depending on us, you know. So it's like we're just on a surface level, always on a physical level, you know. And we're not really we're very disconnected from ourselves in that way, disconnected from our hearts, from our spirits, you know. And we're not really listening to what we truly want, you know. We're listening to the voices of other people saying, no, you want this or you need to pay for that, you know. And it's really important for us to try to start tuning into that space within us, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
And
I can sense like how you went to India, because in some places they live differently. It's like nearly everyone is like on the red line. Or the majority of the people.
Yeah.
But it's like that's just how it goes.
And they're so happy people, happy and content, you know. And it's just like I met some people and they were just so joyful, and it was just like it really melted my heart, and it really made me allowed me to reflect upon myself and see how unhappy I was, you know.
Oh my God,
and I've built this massive illusion that I was happy, and through materialistic things, and you know, and social environments, you know, that weren't really serving me, you know. And it really made me reflect, like being out there, you know, from just with simple conversations with people and just seeing the beauty that they held in their heart and how connected they was to their happiness, you know. Really made me I wanted that as well. And I also, because I have a son as well, I then reflected back onto what I would like him to connect to when he's older as well, you know, and to connect to that inner happiness within himself, you know. And so that was a major catalyst as well, was my son as well, you know, because I wanted to grow so that he could embody that happiness and joy and that connection to his spirit through the way he views me doing it, you know. So
it's like happiness not just for you.
It's not just for us all, you know. And I think that's you know, when we have that outlook on our lives, you know, of unity and wanting to pass that on to people, you know, it's a powerful thing, you know. And we need more of that. We need more unity in the world, you know.
Yeah, definitely, definitely more in London.
No, definitely more in London. Everyone's so separated, and it's not nice. It's not nice.
It's not. It doesn't feel natural.
No, it doesn't. It's not organic. No, definitely not.
That's a good word. Because everything's natural. But okay, so you said like you mentioned briefly social situations. So when you were going through the transition, like just reassessing everything in your life, did you have to reassess people?
That was like part of the transition. That was like the one that really like I had to dig deep with. You know, and it wasn't, I don't want to put people off and say it was painful, but you know, you have to go through that transition where you're letting go of things that ain't resonating with you on a spirit level. you know, and to let go of things so that you can invite new things into your life, you know. So
make space.
Yeah, to make space for, you know, for new things to enter and new energies to enter. And yeah, it was all about that with me, you know, disconnecting from partying. I used to party a lot. I used to go out and drink a lot, you know. That was a big thing for me, like every weekend, you know. And again, I started to see when I didn't do that, how unhappy I was. So I started to see that these situations I was putting myself in were just to cover my sadness.
Yeah.
You know, it's just an illusion, like, hey,
Yeah.
like, you know. And I started to really,
That's why.
you know, and I started to really reflect like that. And you know, bless, I had my partner has always been there for me as well, kind of helped me through my transition. So I had her, and I had my son, and I had a few other people that I started to connect with that were also going through the same transition, you know, and they really helped me out on my journey, you know, to have them people you could speak to and speak about all these things that you're feeling, that if you said to somebody else, they'll be like, hey, you need to, you've lost it, you know what I'm saying? So yeah,
I think that's important.
Yeah. So it was, it lasted for about a year, that transition, and I really stuck to it. You know, I really honoured it. There was a few times where I wouldn't say I slipped up, but I revisited them sides of myself because I wanted to see what it was all about with a new perspective. You know, and I did that, and I really went into it, and I really saw how much I didn't enjoy it, you know, because I started to find this inner happiness again, and I didn't need to drink to feel happy or feel sociable, you know. I would go out and I'd feel even more buzzing with energy as I would just being sober than I would like as I would before when I'd be drinking. So it was interesting to see that that perspective, you know, and really reflect on that, and just stuck with the transition. Went away to South America for a little bit to do a bit of introspective work as well. I was out there for a month in Costa Rica and in Ecuador.
Wow.
So yeah, it was just, and I went by myself, so I was just doing a lot of introspection work and just reflecting and just bringing in the things that I wanted into my life, you know, and just letting go of the old, you know, and just having that space by myself, you know, visiting myself on that level, you know, alone, you know, not needing the comfort of friends or my partner, you know,
That's great.
you know. So yeah, that was a major.
When did you do that?
That was in 2017.
Okay.
That was February 2017.
Yeah.
So I was there for a month, and then after that, after that it was just I came back. And I was really in a beautiful space, you know. I really knew what I wanted in my life, and really had cleared a lot of old paradigms from myself and from my subconscious. And just like that, all these beautiful people started flowing into my life, like with the same sort of intentions and wanting to go through these transitions, you know, like literally like overnight. It was just like I started connecting with people that I had knew from previous friendships, and you know, and I just started almost attracting my soul tribe, you know, like people that I'm connected to on a spirit level, not just on an earth level. And it was really deep, you know. It was really, really deep. All these supports that are coming through, and again, it was support for them as well because they were going through that transition.
Yeah.
So to be able to connect with someone that had just come out of that transition as well was a beautiful thing for us all. So yeah.
I like the distinction you made on an earth level and a soul.
Yeah. Because
it's nice.
Yeah, it's nice because I mean, you know when you've got a soul connection with somebody, you know when you've got a soul connection with someone. So it's nice to feel that with friends as well, and that your friends should be able to lift you up, you know, and you should be able to reflect on each other and lift each other up and take yourself to higher spaces. So yeah, I started feeling these connections coming into my life, you know, and it was really beautiful. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's just really great knowing that, you know, you did it. You carved the path, realised what you wanted to do, realised you weren't happy. And then things came.
Yeah. Well, it's all about as well acceptance as well, like accepting these things about our shadow sides of ourselves, like unhappiness and sadness, and you know, and not just covering them up, and taking ownership for them, you know, and you know, or they lead into, you know, when we leave these things or we brush them under the carpet, they get stagnated, you know, and they lead to bigger things like depression, you know, diseases in the body, you know, they you know, so it's quite important to be able to address it on that level, you know, and really reflect on it.
So when you came back from India and you realised that you weren't happy, where do you think the sadness was like come from?
I think it was just like from building an illusion or finding happiness from materialistic things, you know, and not dealing with old patterns of myself and old traumas that I'd just brushed under the carpet, you know, instead of really sitting in them and seeing how it affected me. I became quite cold in my teenage years, you know, for a lot of processes I went through. Instead of dealing with them, I either took them out on other people or I brushed them under the carpet like they never existed, you know. And throughout the years, and this was for my whole teenage years going into my early 20s, you know, it was really, I had a really traumatic time, you know, and, you know, I went through a lot of processes which I didn't reflect on. You know, I either blamed somebody, pushed them onto somebody, you know, or just literally ignored them and like allowed my heart to turn cold almost, you know, and I had no connection with my heart, you know, and it was, I think it was a build up from that. It was just, you know, it's just a build up, and then you're trying to cover it up so much, you know, you're just finding all these different things to cover it up, and then you're just filled with a load of like
and then you're living a life that's like
it's just an illusion, you know, you're just covering up your traumas, your healing, you know,
and not actually feeling
not feeling, and you become really disconnected. I mean, society kind of integrates that into us anyway, to be disconnected from our heart and really in our mind, you know, so but I didn't have no heart connection, you know, I was like very emotionless, you know, I found it hard to show love to people and to tell them like to be like genuinely nice from my heart, you know, and that became me as a person, you know, and then reflecting back on that, and sometimes when I had these reflections towards the beginning of my transition, it really made to see myself in that way. I was like, oh, hang on a second, like I'm growing into something I don't like, and it's not only me that's been affected, you know, it's my son, it's my partner, you know, they're being affected by the way that I'm turning into, you know, so
like responsibility.
To be, and you know, to be responsible as well to what you pass on to your children. As well.
And everyone.
To everybody, to, you know, to the whole of humanity, you know. So So.
Was there anything specific that happened, like in your teenage years or childhood, that caused?
Well, my the first part of my childhood, I had quite a good childhood. My mum and dad, they lived together, you know, they used to argue a lot, I used to get a lot of backlash from that, you know, but other than that, we had a decent life, you know, nothing I can really complain about. Just like my dad was a bit more on sort of like verbally aggressive, you know, he didn't really know how to channel his anger, you know, and just the way he was brought up as well, you know, how my granddad was, how his dad was as well. So
the cycle.
The cycle, you know, and that then got integrated into me, you know. And so then towards my teenage years, that energy started building up inside me, and I started to have this rebellious energy. And I remember when I was about 15, 16, everything just broke loose, you know. I ended up leaving home, and I was living in hostels from that age till my early 20s, and getting in a lot of trouble with the police, and you know, and just getting mixed up in a whole heap of bad stuff, you know. and inflicted more pain on myself and more traumas on myself, you know, and not having somebody that knew how to deal with the energy I was dealing with, you know, I was just connecting with people that were dealing with the same energy, you know, friends that were going through the same thing, and we were just feeding each other anger and hate, and, you know, so yeah, it was really from I would say from my teenage years through my 20s, where that really affected the person that was being, yeah.
Sounds like a big transition.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Good though.
Yeah. No, it's. I mean, it's beautiful. I'm in a space where I'm really happy that I took the initiative to do that, you know, and connect to them traumas, and to connect back as well to the traumas from my dad and from my mum, and the things that they've that's been passed on to them, and that they've unfortunately had to pass on to us as children, you know, just from the way they are, through, like, you know, through anger, through being worried, through all these different things, you know, that how my parents were, and that how I grew up with, you know, to be able to take that and say and break that in our lineage, you know, and not pass that on to my children, you know, that's a big thing. Big.
Yeah, that is definitely a big thing.
Yeah, like breaking the pattern, and, you know, breaking it down the lineage so it doesn't manifest.
Yeah.
To carry on, you know, that's a major thing, you know.
And I think just to have the awareness anyway, to see that.
Yeah, to see that, yeah.
Because it's like massive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it must be crazy to be, you know, to be like, oh my god, I've just broken the cycle.
Yeah. But then it goes deep, innit? Because then you're going right into that cycle, and you're seeing, like, where it all comes from and how deeply it's embedded inside you, you know, so.
Yeah.
It's deep. It's deep.
Yeah. That sounds amazing. What was I going to ask you about when you went to South America?
Yeah.
Was there anything specific that you were doing there?
Yeah, so over in Costa Rica, was working with, like, plant medicines, and also in Ecuador, you know. So in Costa Rica, we was working with ayahuasca, and he was working with the sweat lodges out there as well.
Nice.
And doing some volunteer work at a retreat center. In Ecuador, we was working with ayahuasca and San Pedro out there, and the sweat lodges. So I mean, the plant medicines on my journey have been the major catalyst.
Really?
You know, for me to visit myself in a beautiful but uncomfortable way, you know. And really like digging deep, you know, and seeing the work that needs to be done, you know, to kind of continue forward on my path and on my journey, you know. So yeah, so I was out there for a month doing that. So
how many ceremonies?
We did quite a few.
Many.
Yeah, we did quite a few. I think in Costa Rica, I think we did 4 or 5 ayahuasca ceremonies, and 2 sweat lodges, and in Ecuador, I think we did 3 or 4 ceremonies and 3 sweat lodges. So it was doing a little bit of work, but then it was good because I was out in nature as well, so I had time to integrate everything, you know, and kind of reflect, you know, where sometimes when you're if you're going through them processes here, it's just, you know, it's crazy, you know, you're trying to really go deep into yourself, and then you've got to go Monday back to work, you know. And it's not really good, you know. You kind of need that time and space to connect to yourself and see the work that needs to be done, and then integrate that into your lifestyle as well, you know. So
yeah, definitely. The integration is also really important.
Yeah, it's important. I mean, it's key.
Yeah.
It is the key. The integration is, like, you know, having the right support around you, you know, having nature around you, because nature is your support as well, you know. So being able to just go for the walks, sit by a tree or sit by the water, you know, and kind of just reflect, and having people that understand you as well, understand you on any level, you know, like mind, body and soul level, you know, so you can really, they can be your teachers as well, so they can give you reflections and perspectives, you know, that you can learn and learn how to integrate, you know, these things about yourself.
And you just went on your own?
Yeah, I just went on my own, yeah. I went on my own, so it was cool.
That's some deep diving.
Yeah, so yeah, bless my partner, I kind of said, yeah, I wanted to kind of do this, and she was cool with it, you know, and I told my son I was going away for a month, so.
That's
yeah.
so good.
Yeah, so it was nice, you know, we've always had that kind of connection where we've all been able to kind of live our lives, you know, but still be a family. You know? So yeah, which is important as well. You know, so yeah, I had that time to go and visit myself on that level. You know, so.
And I guess I feel like sometimes going through such a big change can also be negative on your relationship.
Yeah, of course, yeah, because you're visiting sides of yourself as well. That,
and some, I can imagine some people break up. You know?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, my partner was kind of going through her own transition as well. You know, on her journey, you know, I think it was just before, she went away just before to Brazil as well, by herself to do ayahuasca out there as well. So nice. She was like, so we was kind of like both going through a transition, you know, and kind of, you know, visiting ourselves on them levels, you know, and then bringing it back to each other and trying to grow from that, even though it was really hard, but you know, it was trying to, and you know, now it's led us to in a beautiful space, you know, where we can kind of connect with each other on a spirit level, you know, and see where we've both where both our traumas have come from, you know, and just grow, you know, just grow and kind of pass that on to the children, because that's what it's all about. For me, it's all about the children, you know, what we can bring to the children, you know, the unity that we can bring to them, you know, so
definitely. And to be able to do that with someone as well, like, that's amazing. Yeah. So you said now you're working with plants. What? How did that begin? Your journey into discovering like the healing power of plants.
Of the plants.
Yeah. And also, can you also just talk a bit about, you know, the perception that people have of it, and maybe like, I don't know, something that's a bit more true.
No, of course. So yeah, for me it just kind of started with, I remember I was on Facebook one day and an article just popped up randomly.
Oh my word, Facebook.
Yeah, it was just like, it randomly just came out of nowhere, and it was to do with, it was somebody had written an article to do with Changa, which is like basically DMT, which is the Changa is like ayahuasca but a smokable version almost, you know. Yeah. And I remember this article. I saved this article because it really just had me intrigued. It was this article was talking to me more than a physical level, you know. It was on a soul level. I was reading this, you know, so it really, really got me intrigued. But I remember there was a lot of fear as well. I was reading it, but I wanted to do it, and I was like, but there was so much fear. I was like so scared. It took me like 8 months to really build up the courage to go and do plant medicines, you know. Yeah, so it was like that for me, you know. But I remember it was just one day I just kind of just said, no, I need to do this, you know. I need to break past this paradigm fear, because I started to see it for what it was, you know. I started to see how I started doing more research, and I started to see how these plants are basically manipulated and a lot of fears put around them, you know. And for me, I was just like, why is these things being hidden so much, you know? And why is there so much negative things, or if you do this is going to happen to you, you know? And all these plants come from the earth, you know, and they're all natural, you know. So, and that really started to spark some curiosity inside me, you know. So yeah.
I'm like, I want to know more. And now, since you've been taking it,
Mm.
like, you obviously realise the benefits. that you
Yeah,
get.
oh yeah, the benefits of, it's hard to put into words, you know, the benefits of it, because it's not linear, the stuff that you're receiving from it, you know, so it's really hard to really do it justice by putting it in words.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, they are medicines, you know, they
Yeah.
for me, like my first connection with the medicine was with the ayahuasca vine, and that was somebody was holding a space. You know, I went to a place where everything was structured, and you know the right settings were put in there so that you were supported and you felt supported throughout. You know, so and yeah, that weekend just changed my whole life as well. You know, yeah, it just really took me deep into the ego paradigm of myself, and to really taught me how disconnected I am to my emotions and my feelings, and how to build that connection back up as well, you know. Yeah, so
it's definitely very important, the setting.
No, definitely it's important to connect to try connect to the right people, you know, to the right settings, and to also have a good intention from your heart, you know, not to just have a frivolous intention, or I just want to drink this to have a hallucinogenic experience, you know, because these things are sacred, you know, and they are special, you know. So to have that, when you have that intention in your heart to do that for yourself, to better yourself and to better everything around you, I mean, usually the universe will provide you with the right connections, you know. So yeah, it's important to have that when you're kind of searching for medicine, if you want to call it that, you know.
It's kind of like a tool. In that sense, sounds like.
Bro. I think all of it, like nature, provides a cure for everything, you know, and you know we have the right tools. We just have to find the tools that work with us, you know, and the tools that resonate with us, you know. So
nice.
like, and for me, like since I've been connecting with the plant medicine, it's not just plant medicines with sort of hallucinogenic plant medicines. It's anything. It's, you know, your herbs, your ginger, your cacao. You know, these are like important like medicines to me that I connect to on a daily basis, that help me understand myself and help me also live inside the society we live in, you know, because we live in, I don't know, it's not a nice thing to say, but we live in a sort of a virus, you know. We live in a system that's like, you know, that's making us sick, you know. It's making us sick, you know, and you know, it's not just making us sick on a physical level, it's making us sick on a mental level and a spiritual level, you know. So it's important to, for me it's been important to build connections to nature again, to the plants again, you know, so that they can heal us, they can teach us, they can be our allies, you know. So
This just reminded me of that quote. I don't remember the beginning, but it's something like, it is no measure of hope to be well adjusted to a sick society.
So yeah.
But it does feel like that sometimes.
Yeah, it does feel like that. It does, you know. You know, when you look deep into it, you look into the foods, you know, the foods that are kind of projected into our everyday life. You know, the way our waters are contaminated. You know, the way the air, the pollution. You know, everything is not natural. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not natural, and you can see that manifestation of that contamination happening throughout the whole world. You know what I'm saying? In wars, in famine, in, you know, all these things that are going on throughout the world, you know. And you know, it's happening on our doorstep as well, you know, all the homeless people you see on the road, you know, it's not nice. You know? It's not nice.
I was going to ask you now, can you talk a little bit about cacao?
Yeah, okay. So like cacao's been like another special medicine for me on my journey, you know. I used to really, at the beginning, I remember when I first used to take it, I really used to overlook it, because it was just like, oh, it's just chocolate, you know, what can it do for me? And again, I think that was an integration of society as well, the way they just, the chocolate's readily available, but not in its pure form, and what it can do in its pure form, you know. And it took a while for me to build my connection with it, but slowly I started to understand its not just its physical benefit, but also its like metaphysical and spiritual benefit of it, and the way it started to open my heart, you know, and really like build a gentle connection with plants in general, you know. So I mean, it's been a massive catalyst on my journey, and I'm always working with it. Yeah. So.
When you say, what's the difference, metaphysical and spiritual?
It's both the same things, like metaphysical, spiritual, same sort of concept. But some people might understand it metaphysical or spiritual. Okay. Some people don't like the term spiritual.
So I thought you meant like they're different.
Nah, yeah. So like metaphysical is beyond physics, so what we can see here. So So.
And so it opens you feel
the effect of it, like opening your heart and kind of giving you again a introspective energy, you know, allowing you to see what bits of yourself are closed off, you know, what bits of yourself you could do better on, you know.
And do you have any? I feel like you've got so many different remedies under your sleeve. But you know, do you want to share? Like,
I wanted to share actually an important connection that I've had lately. Is with water.
Ooh, okay.
And
yes.
So because I think it's really like overlooked in our society, and I think it's one of the most powerful connections that we can have.
I love water so much.
But we forget as well that we're made of 70% water. So if we have no connection with water, we don't have a connection with ourselves.
Oh,
you know, so
that's so true.
But I really had this reflection one day, and I was like, if I'm made up of an element and I have no connection with it, what does that say about the connection I have with my internal self, you know? And from that, it really allowed me to go in a process of how ungrateful I am for the abundance of water I have, you know, and the abundance of water that people don't have, you know, and started to really connect in that way, and just to study it as well, and study the way it holds vibration, and the way it cleanses you, and the way you feel good once you've had a shower, you know, all these things, they have like spiritual aspects to them, you know. And when I started working with water in that way, it changed my life as well, you know. I started to really meditate with water, and kind of speak to the water, and put my intention into the water, and ask the water for what I want. Do you know what I'm saying? And then allowing that water to be a carrier for my intentions, you know, taking that within my body, you know. So it's been
I think like I did a sweat lodge in Mexico as well.
Yeah. I mean that teaches you to how to respect water. You know, that really teaches you.
Because basically you're in like a hot, kind of like an igloo.
Yeah, like an igloo. Yeah.
For like what, 2 hours? Or
yeah, it's about 2. I think it's like 4 20-minute or 30-minute rounds.
Yeah.
So it's about 2 hours. Yeah.
And it's very hot.
Yeah.
But I remember the woman who was holding that. She kept saying water is healing. Whenever it rains, it's here to cleanse. I really liked it. Yeah. I love that. It teaches you.
Yeah, it does. But it's like water is like, it gives you life as well, and it gives all the food that you eat is given all the food life, and like we don't respect it.
That's so true.
You know, we don't respect the element, like, and the element is not an element that's external of us.
Yeah.
That element lives within us.
Yeah.
It is 70% of us, you know. So as well, to build like people, if someone might ask me something about like, oh, what should I connect to on my journey? Water is an important thing. Like I always say to people, try to connect to water, because water will really teach you some really beautiful things, you know. It'll teach you so many things. It'll teach you about transparency as well, being transparent with yourself, transparent with people, being honest, being gentle. There's so many things that you can like reflect on that water.
Yeah, be like water, my friend.
Yeah.
But also in that book, what's it called now? Siddhartha, and right at the end, he basically just, there's this old wise guy and he sits on the river and he just learns.
Yeah,
from the river.
Yeah. It's just teaching him, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
And you know, you said, what do you actually do? You said you set your intentions and but how do you?
Yeah, but you could just connecting water in a way like a way I was taught with water is to kind of when you're going into the shower, to center yourself before you go into the shower, because the water is like basically a carrier and it listens to everything that you're feeling.
Wow.
So when you go into a shower and you feel stressed and you feel tired, if you go into that vibration, into the shower, the water takes that and carries you throughout the day with that vibration. So it's always good before you have a shower to kind of center yourself, and when you go in there, think happy thoughts, think of the good things that you want in your life, and then you're kind of setting that intention onto yourself. Once the water goes into your skin, you know, you're allowing them intentions to dissolve inside you, you know, and to become part of you as well. Drinking water, if you do meditate, you know, just having a glass of water in front of you and just kind of, or before you go to bed possibly, or in the morning, and just asking the water, even if it's just simple like, water, I'd like to have a good day tomorrow, you know. There was some research done, I forgot the guy's name, I think he's Dr. Yumoto, Chinese guy, and he basically does a thing where he puts negative and positive vibrations to the water, and he shows like the crystalline effect of it. And when you say beautiful things to the water, it has a beautiful sacred geometry pattern, but when you say negative things, it was all like looked like not nice, do you know what I'm saying? So the water listens to vibrations and picks up on, so you know, to set your intentions to good intentions with the water and drink it, you know, and kind of work with it like that, you know.
I like it.
Yeah.
So subtle.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like, you know, like fireworks or a major thing, you know. It's just these little things that really lead to the biggest things, you know.
Yeah, and I guess it's just like these things that are around us, and we kind of, like you say, take for granted.
Yeah. So not being grateful for the water as well, like it's just that will reflect onto our life, you know. And you know, we want to call in beauty into our life and abundance, but we need to be grateful for the things that are already there in our lives, you know. And water is one that's always there, and we can always take a choice to respect it, you know, even if that means turning off the taps when we're brushing our teeth, having like smaller baths, like shorter showers, you know, and really taking appreciation that we have the water abundantly like that, you know, and then looking on the other side of the world where children don't even have water to drink, you know, and really taking that in and being grateful for that, and just that alone, and just with the water you can start to build gratitude for other things in your life and being grateful for other things, you know. It's a thing that keeps rolling and manifests into all areas of your life, you know? So it's like a very different kind of way of living. Appreciating, you know? Yeah.
Gratitude. What was I going to say? I was just thinking about ayahuasca, because you mentioned water. It's like 70% of us. And I've been reading a bit about DMT as well, which is like the active ingredient in the vine, right? Yeah. Something. It's two different plants, right?
Yeah.
And also that's in our brains.
Yeah. So we produce DMT when we sleep. Yeah, every night. So that's part of us, and basically most living organisms produce DMT as well.
Oh, okay.
So it's a natural compound that's always there abundantly, you know.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. And it's like kind of been hidden from us a little bit, you know. You know, we ain't been taught about this active ingredient that's in us, you know. You know? and how it can. And how beautiful it is, you know what I'm saying, and how it can help us, you know.
I like your like perspective, because it's very much to do with nature and what's already exists
Yeah.
around us, and like using it.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Yeah, utilising what's there, what's available to us, you know.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And I guess it's like that thing that you kind of forget. It's kind of like ancient witchcraft.
Yeah. No, but there's a lot. It's like a lot of wisdom that was passed down. You know, ancestral stuff that was passed down. You know, all these different tribes and different times used to use all these different plants. You know, that to connect to their spirit and to heal themselves. You know, and we've kind of forgot all this wisdom that was passed down. You know, throughout the lineages has just been wiped away. And now we're in a society that's like that medicine is like pharmaceutical medicines and stuff like that, you know, and it's not doing anything for your spirit. Do you know what I'm saying? It might maintain the way you're feeling. Do you know what I'm saying? Or cure you like on a physical level, but it's not going deep. You know what I'm saying, within you. So.
It's very different kind of healing.
Yeah, different. Yeah.
I guess I was ready to say something. I just went. Yeah, it's really interesting. I was going to ask you, what would you say to like? I feel like for some people it might be quite hard for them to, I don't know, apprehend like that. These simple things that we take for granted can actually be healing. And obviously there's so much good as well from Western medicine, right? What would you say, like, to someone who believes in science and facts? Yeah, hard one.
Yeah. To just be open, you know. You can still like. It's okay to believe in science and it's okay to believe in facts, but also to be open to everything, you know, and to explore. You know, there's no harm in exploring yourself or doing research, alternative research, you know, and not just listening to what's pushed out on mainstream. You know, and connecting to people and hearing people's life experiences, like, you know, like this podcast or this video, and just seeing what people have gone through and where people are at now, you know, and if something resonates on a level, you know, just you know, taking the initiative and trying to go push beyond the fear, you know, of connecting to yourself in that way, you know.
Nice.
You know, yeah.
Yeah, because I guess there is a lot that, you know, can be proven and, you know, on one side, but at the same time, there's a lot that is happening but we have no idea about.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like they say, there was something I was reading the other day, and they say basically we can only see 1% of the light spectrum that's out there.
Yeah.
So you've got 99% of what you can't see. Do you know what I'm saying? And that goes for a lot of percentage of what we don't hear about as well, you know. So to be able to have your mind a bit open, you know, and just being able to connect to people on that level and not just being stuck on one thing and just have one tunnel vision, you know. It really helps to listen to other people's perspectives and hear people out, you know. People out, not just with like your mind, but with your heart. Do you know what I'm saying? Seeing what things resonate with you, you know. Because sometimes people might say stuff, and you might be like, "Oh, do you know what? I've been through that," you know, and they've come out the other end of that, you know, and they're in a better place. So yeah, connecting to people on that level.
Yeah, definitely. So how would you describe this transition that you've been on? Like, if you're going to put it into words.
Words.
I know, words.
wouldn't. I don't know how to justify it, but yeah, I don't wanna say it's easy, but it's been rewarding. It's been very rewarding. It's been very insightful, very helping, very beautiful. There's so many words I could throw at it, you know, but it's given me purpose. It's given me purpose and joy in my life, you know, and I'm really finding myself and what I want to do with myself, and not for myself but for other people, you know.
Yeah.
My big thing is what we leave for the children, you know, and the legacies that we leave for them, and the information we leave for them, and the connections that we leave there for them as well, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so it's been a beautiful journey, you know. It's been a real beautiful journey, and I wouldn't really want it any other way, you know, than the way it is now.
Yeah.
You know?
And if you could, like, I don't know, maybe a phrase or something. So I'm trying to pin it down, and you're like, I can't.
I always feel like I've found that light within myself, you know, through being on this journey, and activated that fire within my heart to live and to be the best version of myself, you know. So yeah, it's just, yeah, for me it's just it's really put that fire to really live and to just go out there and just and to help myself and to help other people, you know.
Searching for the light.
Yeah. So yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. So, yeah, and you just see you look at everything and you see the beauty in everything now, you know. For me, you know, personally.
Yeah.
You know, I can look at
everything.
Yeah, everything,
Yeah.
and see how everything has a divinity within it, you know, and everything has light and everything is beautiful, you know. It's just our perception of it, you know, of what we're looking at. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Nice.
yeah.
What does freedom mean to you?
Freedom for me would be to be able to express yourself in the way that you like, to live in joy, to live with happiness in your heart, to live with good health, to be abundant, you know, in water, to be abundant in food, to have shelter, you know, just have a good life, you know, have a good life, and just and be able to just govern your own energy and not to be controlled or manipulated to be a way or to be something you're not, you know? Yeah. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're somewhere in your definition?
Yeah, well, I feel like I do have freedom in my life. There's still that aspect of, like, you know, we live in a society where we're not free, you know, in that way. You know, we're locked down with, like, bills that we have to pay every month, you know. We're locked down with disconnected frequencies around us, you know, that keep us locked in, you know. So yeah, there is that aspect, but we can't control what's happening external of us. We can only work on our internal freedom, you know, and that will then manifest onto our external, you know. So yeah, so it's important to try to work on how free you feel within, you know, and then that starts to manifest on the outside, you know?
Nice.
So yeah.
Thanks. I'll work on it. Cool. Yeah, I think we can wrap it up.
Yeah.
Is there any final words that you would like to say to anyone embarking on such a drastic transition?
Yeah. Well, I just want to just to say to people, you know, just keep going. You know, if you started to connect yourself in that way, just know that you're not alone. You know, there's other people doing the same work and visiting themselves in them ways. You know, and to really just try to stay focused on what you want to get from your journey. You know, to try with a goal and let that be your fuel. You know, and yeah, just keep going. Just keep opening your heart. Keep allowing everybody and everything to be your teacher. You know, all the situations that you get in, whether positive or negative, try not to go into a dualistic aspect of it. Just see it as a lesson and a blessing, and just keep it moving. You know, just keep it moving.
Nice.
You know.
Anaconda. I think it was trademark.
And yeah, there'll be like me and another sister have just opened up like a little project and space where it's a co-creative space where we'll be like connecting communities together and connecting different spiritual aspects and sharing teachings and wisdom and stuff. So it's called the Spirit Hub.
Nice.
So yeah, we're gonna we launched an Instagram page, but we're gonna be doing more work with people that we've connected through different circles and that. So I mean, yeah, cool. If anybody wants to connect, it's at the Spirit Hub _. So,
sweet.
Yeah, so we just launched it, but we'll be posting some stuff up on there and kind of doing some workshops and stuff like that. So feel free to connect.
Sweet. Yeah. Just quickly, you said have a goal. Yeah. I'm guessing you mean like an internal goal.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you can have an internal goal on what you want internally, but also what you want externally. What should try to find your purpose, you know, your uniqueness in life, you know, and then try to build around that, because your uniqueness or your purpose is going to be your foundation, you know, and then whatever you enjoy doing or whatever you feel has purpose will bring you the joy and will bring you the happiness and everything in between as well. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Cool, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Peace.
Peace out.